Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. In this video, we're going to talk about John 16, sin, righteousness, and judgment. We're going to talk about how there are white, Jewish, and LGBT supremacists doing all sorts of things that take away from my romantic appeal. And we're going to talk about the importance of romance. See, first of all, after World War II, Germany was hit with all kinds of repercussions. The Berlin Wall was built, they had to pay reparations, officers were executed, what have you. So they were judged as a group, and they tried to find the worst of them, and they judged them as individuals, and they executed some of them. The Nuremberg trials, what have you. So, because of the nature of the verdict, I'm going to take some time to think about exactly what I want to do about the fact that they put stuff in the water and they made it very expensive to fix it, right? We detected it before I got here, in fact. And it sucks out nutrients from my skin, and they made it hard for me to apply certain products like lotions. They use various tactics. And I think that I've found a way around it. They've allowed me to find a way around it so they can feel like they're in control. They can feel like they're in charge. Throwing out Proverbs where it says, fear the Lord and the King. Throwing out 1 Samuel where it says, listen to what the people are telling you. It is not you they have rejected as king, it is me. God is being rejected by them as they mock God and they mock me thinking things are sweet. And again, I remind you, it is very, very obvious that God is in charge and not the governing class. Very obvious. Every day, thousands of rich people and their immediate family members die, and many of them die pleading and crying and whimpering. Are those the type of actions that come from people in charge? You remember Queen Elizabeth, when she was on her way out, she said none of the rich are powerful enough to stop the passage of time. So now looking at John 16. The world is wrong about three things, right? The advocate of truth revealed that. Sin, righteousness, and justice. Why are they wrong about sin? Because they don't actually believe. Now, what does that have to do with sin? Well, we see in Romans 6, even in Paul's letters, which are made deliberately confusing, he says that people who give in to sin are evil. Now, it's not very hard to not give in to sin. For example, some people might not want to go to work in the morning. They still go. Some people might not want to pick up their children. They still do. It's a matter of discipline. If you have faith, you're going to have that discipline, and you're going to give up evil behaviors. So the world is wrong about sin, because you cannot keep sinning without being a slave to sin. John 8, everyone who sins is a slave to sin. How do I set you free? Because you come into the divine order, you follow my orders, and I train you. And ideally there would be a structure where I would have assistants that I've trained very well who then go out and train people, and we don't see that going on. The church has rejected my leadership. They've rejected God's leadership. So of the mosques, the synagogues, what have you. They're wrong about righteousness because they cannot see me. It said at the time that Christ, as a character in the story, was going to the Father where they can see him no longer. It says in Hebrews, without holiness no one can see the Lord. It says in Matthew 5, blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. And about judgment, because the idea that you've yoked yourselves to, the devil, the source of evil, okay, and I'm not talking about God who allowed evil or created evil to test you, what have you, but the source of evil in that way is condemned. He's your prince, the prince of the world, the prince of worldliness. And there's three groups that are doing his work the most. And just because you're from their race doesn't mean you have to be yoked to their race or their group.